end of the month, for all intents and purposes, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. So I would like to start off, first of all, by giving you an update on Dan Burke. And I'd like, in your own way, your own time, however it's comfortable, but really a prayer for Dan. He just had a very serious surgical intervention day before yesterday. He's going to be probably having to have chemo for quite a while to come. Really not well. His operation was apparently successful, but not yet out of the woods. And so, very special prayer for Dan. And in fact, what an incredible guy. He's actually in the hospital just literally a couple of hours after his surgery. And he called me and he said, I was thinking about the call tomorrow. That's this morning. And I was thinking about, the subject you may want to talk about. And so he actually volunteered the subject again for today. The subjects we talk about, we chit chat back and forth, and sometimes he proposes, sometimes I do, and whatever. But from the hospital bed, literally after a very serious major operation, he asked me to, suggested we talk about resilience. And I thought this is an extremely apropos subject, because we're talking about when we have hardships and we have problems, what we've got to do, and challenges, what we've got to do is we've got to look for resilience, and we've got to be able to overcome all of our challenges and hardships. And so I'm going to take some information from Gemma Lee Roberts, and so we're going to start with a little bit about what she says, and then we'll go on from there. So anyway, Dan, we absolutely pray for you and for complete recovery, speedy and complete. So basically, over the last year, I think we've had more challenges in our lives than probably in the last decade. And everything has been very unpredictable. And the unpredictability of what we've had has caused us to have all kind of mental introspections and apprehensions about where we are, where we're going, what's going to happen. The uncertainty is what causes stress. Uncertainty is what completely disrupts our clear thinking. So, where we look forward and we don't see a clear path, and we also see a disruptive journey which we were on, then we've got to be able to have the capacity of being psychologically resilient to face adversity. The importance of this, of course, is the flexibility of the mind, being able to be active and reactive and proactive. And this is where I always ask the questions when I meet people who get into the business. I have 3 questions. Who are you? How well do you know yourself? And what do you want? And the reason about how well do you know yourself is precisely for where we are right now, where we have a very unpredictable situation for everybody. We've had what I call the great equalizer, because it's something that has affected absolutely everybody in some way. So it's a great equalizer. And it's up to us to be able to rethink ourselves and to regenerate ourselves to be active, proactive, and reactive, finding ways to emotionally and physically navigate the situation. Having the belief that it's more than just a belief, that we have an unswerving belief that we can, get over it, and we have all the tools to do it. This is important when we've got this psychological belief that we know in our minds that we can go forward, we can overcome these obstacles. And that is important for us to be able to have an attitude of positivity, because otherwise we just buckle out and we say, oh, woe is me, the situation is terrible, I don't know what to do, but everybody's in the same boat, and so on and so on. That is not the way to go about it. The way to go about it is to have the critical belief that we can go forward. Of course, we feel unsure, we've got new challenges, we're overwhelmed and stuck, not having all the answers or a perfect roadmap for the problems at hand. Okay, well, we were born pretty dumb. We didn't know much when we were born. We had to figure a lot of the stuff out. And right now, we have to believe in our ability to find solutions. And this is something that is important, because we have every single tool at our disposal. There's nothing we lack, nothing. Because the only cobwebs we have are in our minds. Those are the only roadblocks we have. So even if we do, God forbid, have a problem with our health, or somebody in our family, or God forbid, somebody that somebody dear to us, we still have to overcome these challenges, and for ourselves, for our families, and we have to find the solution for that. So one of the advantages that we have, is that we have a team of people that over our lifetimes we're able to create. We're able to form a team of people, whether it's in our families, whether it's our friends, whether it's our community, whether it's our clubs, whether it's our churches, or wherever it is. There's still a team of people. And these are people that are part of our resources. They're people that we can interchange with. And, they have talents, they have strengths that sometimes we may not have. And this is where we can rely or lean on that help. So we're talking about, mentors and colleagues that we have. And it's all about, in our network of life, of people in our lives. And so this is something that I think is important. So, as we go forwards in life, we think we should have all the answers. We got it all worked out, until we see somebody who's, we think we're doing the right thing, we're doing well, and everything's great, until you look around and you say, oh goodness, that guy's got more than I have, or he's more successful, or he's got something that I wish I had. And that's where we get this uncertainty in our lives, as well as the situation in which we've just had for the entire past year of COVID. We've had a year of going between anxiety and stress and pain and fear and so on. So all of these things are things that if we let these things happen to our minds, they will control our destiny. So we cannot let that happen. We've got to look at these things, embrace them, and squash them and get them out of our minds. Any kind of doubts, self-doubts, any kind of fears, any kind of things that we feel helpless about, that we're not in control of. Embrace it and take it out of your mind, because we have everything. We have the tools. We should not let ourselves be overwhelmed. It's easy to do that. Very easy to become overwhelmed. We have all kinds of especially the mind. The mind is one of those things that allows us, or if we let it, become overwhelmed with issues, anxieties, and problems. These are things which are going on. We do not have to have any of that. I know you're going to think I'm talking about a bunch of negative stuff. I'm trying to make an X-ray of what's happened over the past year and where so many people have been affected by this, including us. But we have the resilience, we have the know-how, we have the know-who, we have every tool available to us. So we are not helpless, we are in control. So what we've got to do is finding something that makes us feel good. And that's something that makes us feel good are the small progresses, the progressions that we have in our life. How when we do something and something's gone well, focus on that. Don't focus on all this other stuff that's going on. Focus only on what is really going well. So that is what starts to give us a feeling of yay, of good, of positivity. So some of the things that we can do are, the little projects that we have. Each step that you do something that you feel that you were able to control, those are things you must focus on. We should focus on, so that we don't even notice the other things that we cannot control. There are too many things we cannot control, but we must focus on what we can control. We can focus on the absolute gifts that we have. I mean, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but our perspective and view of the world would dictate how we experience events and how we behave in different situations. Looking at the growth opportunities that are born out of difficult situations forces our attention on hope and optimism, which research has shown supports the developing resilience. It's our look at life, it's our look at ourselves, it's our look at our families, it's our look at our business, it's our observation of how we see things that will determine how we act. And this is paramount importance. We have to understand that we are in a position of strength. We're in a position of having everything, that we have the tools. So the outside unprecedented things that are outside of our control, we can't do those. We can't change anything there. Don't focus on that. So we have to look at things like gratitude. Gratitude, when we start looking around and we think what we have, and we begin to understand how grateful we should be. I mean, just think about it. In America today, we've got the possibility of getting vaccinated, whether one chooses to or not, it's a choice. But anyway, we have that choice. We have the vaccinations. Around the world right now, there are countries that they're not even on the map to get it. And we have up-to-date information. We're able to find out and make educated lifestyle choices. A lot of people don't have that. So, when we look at the world and we look at ourselves and we look where we are and you think about it, we've got everything continually working as it did before, most things. Unless we own a restaurant. But I mean, generally speaking, we still have access to groceries. We still have access to our medications. We have access to our supplements. We have access to doing a business. So I'm going to go on talk about that for just a second. And so the big thing about this is to formulate the plan for long-term resilience. If we put in our minds that we have the the possibilities to do everything, then there's nothing that's going to come in to detract us. So in March last year, when COVID first started, I actually did a little, I don't know, minute thing on I don't even remember where, on a video that I did. And I said, thank you, COVID. And for the following reasons, which I'll mention now. And I got flack from, especially from my brother. He gave me such flack. How can you be so insensitive? COVID is terrible and COVID is this and that. And I said, okay, well, thanks, COVID, for the following. Thank you, COVID, for giving me a year of time, which I did not have. Think about the positive things that come out of a negative situation. Time, most precious asset we have. Being able to focus on my family and their emotions. You know, time has allowed us to actually have conversations with our kids, with our families, to actually start getting to know them, to getting to know what they like, what they don't like, what their fears are, what their trials are, what their tribulations are. These are great things that we've been given. We didn't have the time to do it because we were so busy. And now we're able to do that. We've actually also something I think which is interesting is to be able to share a collective fear. This I think is a huge positive thing. When there's something that is unknown and that is scary, and we're able to share it with our families and share it with our friends, and we can all interchange ideas and thoughts. These are things which strengthen us. They strengthen our mental defenses about the fear, and we get rid of the fear. And the fear is false evidence appearing real, except that a lot of stuff is going around. So we don't need to hook into that. It's been a time when we can introspect and think about the new future, plan differently with unlimited possibilities. These are things too. These are great things. When we're able to introspect and we're able to spend time for ourselves. How many times up to a year and a half ago, how much time did we actually spend just thinking? We were so busy running around chasing our tails, we hardly had time to think. And now we've got ample time, and we've had ample time to really think about things like when we were, 16, and we dreamt of the world and what we were going to do and what we could do and so on. And we've had that possibility again in the last year. So it's a positive thing. We've actually been able to adapt to a new home business through social media, Zoom, LinkedIn. These are new tools that we've had, that we really only in the last, year and a half, we've actually really developed the tools to be able to connect with people all over the world, to be able to have one-on-one time without having the wasted time of driving everywhere. We can just click and speak to somebody in any part of the world we choose to do that. Our business meetings are through Zoom as well, like we're doing right now. How strong is that? What an amazing asset that is, to be able to use technology to talk, to show people what we've got, to tell them what we have, to be able to share all of our assets as well with them. Being laid off is not necessarily a bad thing. I don't want to make light of it because I understand we all have to eat and have our bread and butter and feed our families. But I'm also saying that, I lost everything I owned 3 times in my life, just everything, because I lived in countries that I chose to live in and war was going on and so on and so on. But that is where I had the best growth of my life. The best years of my life of growth was when I had to rethink everything out of the box. I had to redirect my life. And sometimes we're in the comfort zone of mediocrity in our lives. And we're happy in that mediocrity until something disrupts it, like losing our job, which is sad. But at the same time, it opens up the horizon to us looking at different opportunities. I've had conversations in the last year with many people that have said, wow, this is a great opportunity that we're offering. Thank you for that, because I wouldn't actually have been able to get into this if I had been in the rut of the business that I was in. I mean, in our teams, we've got, for example, Mike Cook and his team, and Dan's team, and Ryan's team, and so on, Andy's team. We've got a lot of people who've actually come on board in the last year who've been thankful for the new opportunities that they would not normally have had. So this gives us an attitude of more positivity, because we have everything. We've got all the science, technology, innovation, the products. We've got the scanner. We've got the supplements. We can help people with their health. A new awareness to health. This is another big thing that's happened in the last year and a half. Previous to that, everybody took life for granted. Everything was, just as it is. How are you feeling? Great, fine. But they never really understood how significant their health was. Never really understood it, never really dissected the importance of that. And yet, wow, now we're more aware of it, and we've got this feeling that we're actually in a company. We have a company that is geared towards helping people with their health awareness. We've also got the possibility now of looking at of being grateful for the freedoms we have, even though we've got a few restrictions. But there are a lot of freedoms that we have that other people don't have. This is all part of a mindset. It's part of a feeling of privilege that we have. And we're very, very privileged. And we're privileged, especially when we look at ourselves compared to many countries around the world. Many countries around the world, we are so privileged. And this is all part of a positive mindset that makes us feel strong and feel like we can and we will and we do help other people. So, it also tempers our feeling of being entitled, because a lot of our kids have this feeling of entitlement. And this is tempering the feelings of entitlement. And I was thinking about something. I saw a little quote the other day about pride divides mankind. Humility unites them. That's Seneca. Pride divides mankind. Humility unites them. What is pride actually? Pride is the ego that differentiates us from the others. And this is something that, it can be a good thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing at all. So, now really is a time to rally around who we really are. It's time to find out who we really are, and to be able to unite people into a forward-thinking, positive attitude, that we have the tools to be able to work with them. We've got teams of people that can work together and strengthen ourselves. We strengthen them. We can strengthen everybody around us. So, COVID, the great equalizer, adjust your sails to cope with the storm and feel good about the new beginnings. So I think 2021 is an exciting time. It's a new beginning again. It's a reset for us. We should have learned a lot from the last year. We have exciting products that have just come out, the Nutricentials. I listened to the scientists talking about Nutricentials. I understood about 3%. All the rest went straight over my head. I didn't understand what she's talking about. But from what she was saying, I picked out a few things, you know, plant-based products and plant-based origins and so on. So it's exciting times. So I invite everybody to you know, look at who you are with excitement, with resilience, with being able to know with unswerving security about who we are, that we can and will and are being successful. So I don't know, I don't mean to ramble on too much, but if anybody has any questions, you know, please feel free. I'm delighted to listen to what anybody has to say, and thanks for your patience.
Lawrence, it's Martin. Could you elaborate on how you deal with that question that you ask people? How well do you know yourself? What are you looking for?
Well, when things go well, we're all, you know, lovey-dovey with everybody. But when things don't go well, then we've got to understand that we can slide into a defensive situation, we can slide into an aggressive situation, we can slide into a situation of disdain, whatever the problems are. So if we introspect each time we have an issue and not think about it, you know, like for example, road rage. What the hell is road rage? Why do we have road rage? Why do we get upset with the person at the supermarket? Or why do we have these? And then when we look at that, we say, well, how stupid is that? What am I doing? I've had an emotional hemorrhage for something that's not in my control. That'd be ridiculous. That's what stress is. Stress is having a situation which is out of your control and you have an emotional hemorrhage, you can't control it. So think about that and say, ridiculous. Put some music on and let everybody and just have and listen to the music. So it's about constantly looking to see how we can, in my opinion, how I can better myself each time I have a challenge. How can I be better? How can I be more productive? How can I be less angry? How can I be less emotional about something and try and balance out what that challenge was?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I hope it was an answer. But
yes, it was. Thank you.
All right. So there's some things on here. I didn't see these. James, thank you. This reminder, it's easy to focus on wrong things. Yes, it's easy to focus on the wrong things, especially in times like this. That's the whole point. So focus on what's really positive, what we've got that we know. We forget about the good things we've got. Adjust your sales and sales, correct. Real test when things don't go well. It's exactly right. The real test is when things are not going so well. That's when it is. When we've got family upheavals, whose side do we take? Why do we take a side? Do we need to take a side? Can we be above it? You know, it's my wife and my daughter having a fight, for example, or it's my brother and my sister, or it's my wife and my brother, or whatever. Do we need to get involved? Do we need to get into the fray? Can we be above it? Can we be mediators? Can we detach from our own emotional involvement and try and be objective? So, you know, that's where I think the mind has got so much to do with it, because it's all about our attitude in life. And that attitude in life comes from being beaten, from having success, from success to success, from failure to failure. It depends on how we analyze that particular event. It went well or it went badly. It went badly. All right, what am I going to do about it? What happened about it? Should I wallow in my self-pity and the woe is me, or should I kick myself in the backside and say, okay, get moving. Let's get over it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of us have been being beat up at some point in our life, had bad things happen to us, and we find our way through that. And once we do, we tend sometimes to lose that perspective and our memory. And if you're, you know, if your situation in these times, as COVID has been all right, you've been doing well. Um, Try to remember back when things maybe weren't going so well for you, and look around you and see who you can help if you have the capacity. Not everybody has the capacity, and I mean, it kind of circles around to what we're doing with wellness and healthcare and everything, and the opportunity it provides to help other people.
I just would like to mention something on this too. Thanks, Michael. You know, when we feel good about stuff, it helps our own psyche. So I just want to put it out there right now. We've got Nourish the Children, and Nourish the Children for about 80 cents a day, less than $1 a day anyway, we can feed a hungry child for a month. Now think about this for a second. Think about the state of the world, and where we've even got that possibility in our company, where we can actually even get paid for making a charitable contribution. If every one of us, you know, one bag, $26, I think it is a month, feeds a child for one healthy meal a day for a month. You know, why don't we all kind of make a plan on that too, to say, I want to feed 100 kids for this coming month. I can't do it on my own, but I can if I get everybody on our team to say, guys, let's all donate a bag. Let's all donate 1% of our income, 2%, whatever you can afford. You know, collectively we can do stuff, and collectively that helps our psyche, it helps our morale. This Nourish the Children is a big deal, a really big deal. And we can make a huge impact and feel good. You know, I look at the SPCA that sometimes they have on the ads on TV, and I see this SPCA and I see this poor dog and this lady with a voice out of the tomb somewhere, the poor dog. So my heart goes out to that. How can I help all the dogs? I can't, but I can help with doing something. Do something. That's the important thing. Take action. And honestly, Scott Bennett has been one of the bastions of leadership towards this Nourish the Children in Talibanji, in Malawi. There's a whole program down there. This is something that can make us feel good, makes me feel hell of a good. When I know that some of what I'm making, a little bit, can go towards feeding some kids. So this is something that I just wanted to mention. It's all about the feel good in life. How we feel good makes us feel, how we feel good sometimes can make us feel good a lot of the time.
Lawrence, I think one of the extraordinary things about this business, and this is also the case with Nourish the Children, is how it aggregates, in the sense that if everybody does a little bit, those little bits aggregate into a vast whole. And nowhere is that more applicable than with Nourish the Children. For example, you can't build a successful business with Pharmanex by doing a whole lot of your own business on your own front line. But when you have a group of people, all of whom do $50, $100 a month, and maybe all of whom buys one bag of Vitameal, that adds up into something of real significance. I will never forget being incredibly moved in a huge amphitheater in Salt Lake City with about 16,000 people there, when the former president of Malawi, a lady, came out in her full dress costume onto the stage and just offered the most sincere thanks to all the distributors there for literally lifting her nation's children out of starvation. And it was through the efforts of these Nu Skin distributors that this country's children were able to benefit from the complete elimination of childhood starvation in that nation. That is huge. And it was not achieved by one or two people. It was achieved by everybody doing just a little bit. Quite extraordinary.
And imagine the vision of somebody in Provo, Utah. It's not even on the map.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for being on the call. Let's rock March. Let's rock the rest of today and tomorrow. It's possible still to do some big things between today and Saturday and the end of the month. So good luck. And don't forget Waikiki, keep that in mind as something to help your team. And that's by end of June, I think. So we still have plenty of time to qualify for that. Going with the team and our partners and spouses and what have you. So anyway, thanks everybody. Thanks for your time. Blessings, and look forward to seeing you on Monday with Scott, Wednesday with Kent and Dr. Mansi. And also please keep Dan Burke in your prayers. Bless everybody. Thank you.